If you want to sell more from a catalog or you have a client who manages a catalog, listen carefully for these 7 proven ways to boost e-commerce sales. The key is that cataloging today is more powerful than it's ever been. You have better access to analytics, better access to link tracking, more measures to know whether or not the money you're spending on advertising is driving actual revenue. This is the right place to be. And I want to share with you 7 proven ways that you can boost sales from your e-commerce catalog. I'm Justin Hitt with Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips. I used to work with Lillian Vernon. I've worked with some of the top catalogers online, also organizations that have catalogs offering products and services or selling advertising in a catalog platform, like those at Landmark Communications when it comes to car, auto trade, or things like that. The point I'm making here is that there are 7, and now this is not a complete list, but it's what we can cover in our time available. 7 proven ways. Now, what I do is I document best practices. And when I put together these ways, I was looking for ways that existing catalogs can boost sales and increase profits. And these are in no particular order. But what I notice is a lot of catalogs today are being fed by YouTube channels. And this is tip number 1 is by YouTube channels. These can be either affiliates sending traffic via product demonstrations or reviews, or they can be your own in-house media. But understanding which topics are driving sales and which topics are improving the monetization of your site or the products that are really getting picked up as far as conversion is concerned is extremely powerful. Now, it's not just the products mentioned. And the way we do this when we work with clients is we actually will list all the product mentions and all the media associated with that. And these are off platform topics. And then we're going to look at what products are selling and those attributions or contributions coming in. Now, if you have an affiliate link, that gives you great link attribution. If you're using Google UTM codes or some kind of short link, those can give you great attributions. But once you've discovered which content on YouTube is driving sales, now you can syndicate that content to Rumble, to BitChute, to other video platforms, including doing show notes on your own platform in order to drive traffic that we know already works. So you prioritize the content externally that is driving sales internally, and now you find more places to put that content. You can also promote the individual content, especially if it's in your own medium. So, for example, if you've got a YouTube channel that drives sales to your catalog, and your monetization is $3.99 cost per thousand impressions, or revenue per thousand impressions, you can boost those videos at $1 per thousand impressions, get the monetization coverage, and also get additional sales at your catalog. Number 2, product merchandising. You want to clone your best selling designs into testable variations. So, for example, if you're selling t-shirts, the best variation t-shirt, the design, you might try a couple different colors. You might try mugs, mouse pads, hats, other types of product. And we build a test matrix to see which of those sparks additional sales. And so we can almost have a modality. So t-shirt, mug, hat, and then we could have a design down the right hand side, design 1, 2, and 3. And then we can run that matrix for best revenue or profit per sale and really start boosting the sales at your site. Now, this depends on the existing traffic. So once you set up this test, you're going to send campaigns out to your house list. You're going to start going through those who may be retargeting to bring people back. But product merchandising is an excellent way to grab attention. Another powerful thing, too, in the product merchandising is to create offer bundles of your best selling products. So you can take 3 products, maybe it's 3 t shirts at a discount price, and it's 2 of those t-shirts are best sellers and the other t-shirt is kind of a test, and you can start building out a test there and figure out what are your best products. You can get your visitors to vote with their dollars. Number 3, audience matching. I've kind of mentioned it with the retargeting, but we want to use lead generation and sales conversion to build house lists. Depending on how many sales you have, that buyers list is great. That global buyers list, you can start with retargeting, but I want to see product level or thematic level same audience matching lists so that you can start building out your audience segments. So I want you to match audience segments. So this really depends on clean analytics to determine who your buyers are and to develop those product segmentations. But again, once you've developed offers that sell, if we can match an audience in Facebook, match an audience on LinkedIn, match an audience in the search engines, match an audience on all these different platforms, we can go platform to platform and repeat the same campaigns over and over again to then determine which campaigns work in each month. Refresh product design, send the campaigns out again, boost sales and profits. Again, these are proven ways. They're best practices that I've documented over the years with all kinds of companies, all types of products, and they are proven ways to increase your sales and profits. Number 4, social media promotion. Now, I've mentioned these different platforms, but did you know you can test ad copy on the social media platforms without any pay or any cost? And you want to test two things. One, the ad copy that generates followers and builds your list. Remember, we talked about audience matching. We want to build a list inside of Facebook, inside of Instagram, inside of something by featuring products, getting that like so that we can build that audience in the platform. But secondarily, we are going to drive traffic to the website by testing some of our copy. Now, what do I mean by testing copy? We might have a background that has a certain product. We used the t-shirt example because that's a good merch example. A lot of people are doing that today. So you have the t-shirt, and of course it doesn't matter if you have a $100,000 product or a $50,000 product or a $50 t-shirt. The background image is what we're testing. That's the base, and then over top of that we would put the same copy. So we might have two different background images, same copy on the front, and we'll determine which background image is getting the most traction because we have the same copy. And then we take that background image and we would test two different copies on the same background image. Whichever works from that test set, we will then amplify with paid traffic. And then we might test it on Facebook and then amplify it on Facebook. And if it works well there, then we take it to Twitter, TikTok. We just go right around the board, driving traffic, measuring results on conversion. Now, I gave you a concept here that you may not be familiar with, is that test set. We're testing the two images first to determine which image gathers attention in the social media environment. Now, if that was a test in pay-per-click or that was a test someplace else, we might test the copy first. And there's different ways of doing this. Number 5, we're going to do product image merchandising. We were going through some catalogs earlier today, and I was comparing catalog A with catalog B. And catalog A had 3 to 5 images for every product in the catalog, and you could zoom in really well, and the pictures are really clear, and it was almost like you're touching the product. Where catalog B had like 1 image per item. Same product being presented, but the depth in which a user could contemplate their decision to purchase was completely different. You want to test that. We can use A/B splits to test that. We can use different, we could just load it up with images and show 3 different images for each set. You could do image sets that are front, back, and top, and then change from 2 different fronts and tops. The key here is to set up a best practices of 3 to 5 images, and the images and descriptions work together, but we might just change the images first and see if that tweaks the number of conversions, not both things at the same time. When we're testing, we want to test one thing at a time. Now, again, we're on number 5, which is product image merchandising. Making the products look sexier. Another item there is to have user submitted content. Like if it's a t-shirt, them wearing the t-shirt. If somebody's an affiliate and they have reviewed your product, you might have a screenshot out of their review. We've got all this media being created in 1 through 5. Number 6 is we're going to syndicate that media in our in-house media, and we're going to have show notes. So let's say you have a series on YouTube that's driving clicks to your catalog. You might embed that video in your own website, put together some expanded show notes. Of course, we're keyword targeting, we're writing for specific audiences, we're bridging the interest in the video with the interest in the product, and we're building these targeted show notes that are now helping people come to the site, even if you're just using banner rotation to test your space ads elsewhere. This is additional organic traffic to your catalog that you can start flagging for same audience match and retargeting, which you can get the clicks and the when somebody watches a YouTube video embedded on your site, you get credit for that on YouTube, but they could click through to YouTube and then become a subscriber there. We're building out the ecosystem. And so number 6 is extremely powerful. Now, before we get to number 7, I want to tell you that these are not the only ways we know to increase sales from a catalog. And of course, they are not the only techniques that we can use. And many times you can stack these techniques. And so if you're looking for a discovery call or a consultation to talk about your specific catalog, then you're going to visit us at www.adbriefings.co.uk. Go to the contact page and ask about a discovery call, and we'll go through the screen and actually apply these 7 best practices. We'll audit your site and we'll talk about some things that can be improved. But basically, um, this recycling, tagging, list building, audience building is because once we know who's the buyer, what are they buying, and periodically when do they buy, so we want to know the first 30 days of the purchase. We can now come back with number 7, which is writing buyer specific content. See, if you have a list of buyers, you can drop them on a survey and learn more about those buyers and then start writing content that is buyer specific. We want catalog descriptions that are outcome and post purchase experiences. Too many catalogs focus on just the details of the product and the features and maybe a couple benefits here and there, but we want to sell the experience of owning the product and service. Now, I gave you examples of t-shirts, but most of my clients are selling high-end services. They're selling consultations, courses, three-figure items, five-figure items, and even equipment. And so those things don't sound that sexy. It kind of like they're widgets. But because it's so easy to set up catalogs today, because so many people can set up websites, because you're almost competing with your affiliates as well in them setting up the attention for the content, we want to drive all the clicks back through the website, be able to measure everything, optimize each inflowing channel, and then as far as a catalog is concerned, optimize that channel, and then ultimately have the right language so that we can shorten the time to sale for people who land on the site. Either they're going to opt in for updates, news, coupons, new product information, or they're going to buy a product. And now we've narrowed down the catalog to buy or sign up. And then this ecosystem around it, which could be in-house content on a blog. It could be your affiliates. It could be content on someone else's channel. It could be content on 35 different channels. We're able to measure it in one place and then start doing those A/B testing that we were talking about earlier to determine which copy sells and which doesn't. Headline tests are a great place to start. You don't have to name the product the same way everybody else is naming it. You can have the color of the purchase buttons done. So these universal tests, we're going to test the buttons across the entire site. We're going to test images. All of this testing, if by building test cases and running a few tests at a time. Now, again, when I work with clients, we sit down and we go over the test cases and we make sure the tests are not invalidating each other. We make sure we have enough traffic to test. Sometimes we've got to pay for some traffic and test within those cycles because we can pull 2,500 people to the website and see within that set which ones convert and which ones don't, and then take that test result and syndicate it within the rest of the site. So again, I've covered 7 proven ways to boost e-commerce sales and profits because again, every customer you get from your e-commerce site becomes an opportunity for a high ticket upsell, becomes the opportunity for another purchase, becomes the opportunity for services. But the key is we're optimizing our outside channels, we're merchandising the products themselves, we're matching our audiences and attracting back buyers. We don't care who visits the website, we care who buys, and we want to invite the buyers back. We're doing social media promotion using artifacts that we're actually testing in social media. Now you can still show what you ate for breakfast and have the other entertainment type stuff, but we want to have some tests in there. And then what we learn in testing, we're going to go put right into the paid channels. We want to make sure our images are really good. We want to recycle all this media we have by creating really good show notes or blog posts. And then finally, all of this learning goes into the quality of the copy we're writing, and we're using direct response copy, testing headlines, testing opening paragraphs, testing short product descriptions, testing long product descriptions, testing reviews or demonstrations, and we're driving all of that into an analytics system that tells us what works and what doesn't. That's how I come up with these best practices. These best practices are based on conversion, not confusion, and they're based on solid test cases and work very consistent. Now, are there other ways to improve sales and profits from your catalog? There certainly are, and we can explore those at another time. Or if you'd like to do a consultation or discuss your specific catalog, visit us at www.adbriefings.co.uk. The one commonality between all the catalogs that we work with is that they target affluent customers who are typically conservative, typically libertarian, typically neoliberal in the sense of freedoms and things like that. They also tend to have a good amount of money, so they're above average buyers. And then, of course, we've presented 5-figure courses, 5-figure training, on-site training, off-site training, books, T-shirts, merchandise, items like that. But again, it all drives into a larger funnel. And so try one of these different ways here, one of these proven ways to boost e-commerce sales and profits, and let me know how it works out. But if you want to schedule a discovery call to see if what we do for our clients would work well for you, or to speak specifically about your catalog, your e-commerce catalog, or your digital marketing, then visit us at www.adbriefings.co.uk. Go to our contact page and ask about a discovery call. And then, of course, at that website, www.adbriefings.co.uk, we have got a free newsletter, additional resources, podcast backlog of the podcast episodes and details that weren't covered in the podcast but are going to be useful for implementation. We've got so much more for there because our goal is to help you create and keep profitable customers, and to use words that sell, that communications and that interaction to boost profits in your business. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode.